You know, Jane Austen's novel Emma is so much more than just a romance. It's this brilliant, often hilarious, and sometimes painful character study of a young woman who really truly thinks she knows best. Today, we're going to dive into the first major act of meddling by our well-intentioned but oh so misguided heroine. Right from this iconic opening line, Austen tells you everything. Here's a protagonist who seems to have it all. She's living in the cozy town of Highbury, she's 21, and she has like zero things to worry about. She is, for all intents and purposes, the absolute star of her own world. But let's talk about the Queen of Highbury. Who is she really? Because you just know that underneath that perfect, handsome, clever, and rich exterior, there are some fascinating flaws just waiting to cause some serious trouble. I mean, Emma is basically at the top of her game. She runs her dad's house like a pro. She's totally convinced she'll never get married herself. And, this is a big one, she's just come off what she sees as a major matchmaking success for her governess. And that little victory, it has made her dangerously confident in her own judgment. But here's her big vulnerability. Now that her governess, her dear friend, is gone, she's left in what Austen calls intellectual solitude. Her father, who she loves, is a sweet but anxious hypochondriac. He's definitely not a match for her sharp, restless mind. So, she's bored. And let me tell you, a bored Emma is a dangerous Emma.
So, here's the million-dollar question. With all this energy and intelligence just sitting around, where is she gonna point it? She needs a new project, or maybe a new person to improve.
And what do you know? Right on cue, the perfect subject walks right into her life. Someone she can mold, guide, and, totally elevate in society. Her name is Harriet Smith.
So, meet Harriet Smith. She's sweet, she's pretty, and her parents are a complete mystery. That little phrase, the natural daughter of somebody, is so important. In the super rigid class system of the time, this basically means her social standing is a total blank slate. And for a social engineer like Emma, that is absolutely irresistible. So what's the big deal with Harriet? Why is she so appealing to Emma? Well, let's be honest, it's not a friendship of equals. Harriet is a project. She's easy to influence, she isn't super bright, and she just looks up to Emma with complete adoration. To Emma, she is the perfect raw material for a social masterpiece. And Emma does not waste a single second. Her very first move is to rescue Harriet from a romantic future that Emma decides is completely unworthy of her.
The trouble starts when Harriet shares some big news. She's gotten a marriage proposal. It's from a Mr. Robert Martin, a respectable, hard-working farmer. By every objective measure, this is a fantastic match for a girl in Harriet's situation, but not in Emma's eyes.
This shows you everything about Emma's snobbery and just, well, her terrible judgment. To her, a farmer is clownish and totally beneath Harriet. So instead, she invents this whole fantasy that the local vicar, the oh-so-refined Mr. Elton, is secretly in love with Harriet. She starts seeing clues everywhere, building a romance that exists only in her imagination. And this is when the voice of reason steps in. Mr. Knightley, a close family friend, and literally the only person who ever calls Emma out, sees exactly what she's doing. He tells her, flat out, that she is actively hurting Harriet, filling her head with nonsense, and steering her away from a genuinely happy future with a good man. But does Emma listen? Of course not. She just dismisses his warning and gently, but very firmly, manipulates Harriet into writing a letter to refuse Mr. Martin. All the while, she's completely convinced that her brilliant plan for Harriet and Mr. Elton is just about to pay off.
But all of Emma's careful plans, all that smug self-confidence, is about to come crashing down in one of the most wonderfully awkward and mortifying scenes in all of English literature.
Okay, so picture it. Emma manages to get into a carriage alone with Mr. Elton after a Christmas party. Harriet couldn't make it. Emma is thinking, this is it. The perfect moment for him to confess his love for Harriet, with me as the messenger. She is practically buzzing with anticipation. And then, the unthinkable happens. Mr. Elton grabs her hand and makes this passionate declaration of love to Emma. He totally misinterpreted all her scheming. He thought all her little hints and engineered meetings were her way of encouraging him to propose to her. And his real motivation becomes crystal clear when you look at this number. The very ambitious Mr. Elton wasn't looking for a sweet girl with no connections. He was aiming way, way higher. He was aiming for Miss Woodhouse and her very handsome inheritance of £30,000.
So the plan didn't just fail, it completely exploded. And now Emma has to deal with the shrapnel. The fallout is swift and it is brutal. First, Emma is just deeply humiliated. She's forced to recognize not just her mistake, but her own arrogance. Second, and this is so much worse, she has to tell poor Harriet the truth, completely breaking her friend's heart. And finally, the rejected Mr. Elton wastes no time, leaves town, and comes back just a few weeks later, engaged to a rich woman, just to add insult to injury. Emma has made a complete and total mess, hurting her friend and making a fool of herself. She knows she's done wrong. But the real question is, has this disaster actually taught her a lesson? Is she going to stop meddling in other people's lives? Or is this just the first of many blunders to come? Well, that is what the rest of this brilliant novel sets out to explore.